Up next on the Forum, a local child advocacy organization is seeking a few good men and women to help children in foster care navigate the legal system. Our continuing series on suicide awareness and prevention looks at how friends and co-workers of suicide survivors can help them through the holiday season. Human Services Forum begins now. Hello and welcome to the Forum. Since 1986, Norfolk's court-appointed special advocates have been taking a stand for children involved in the Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court and foster care services. Today, Norfolk CASA Incorporated is reaching out even more to let the community know about its mission and its renewed effort to recruit volunteers. Please welcome Roxy Hoven, who is the Executive Director of Norfolk CASA, Inc., and Sarita McKinney is a CASA volunteer. Thanks for joining us, Sarita. This is great to have a volunteer to share some experiences so we know what it is, what it means, not only to a volunteer, but to the children that we serve. Roxy, this CASA is not, it's been since 1986, which is, well, I started doing the math, that's a while ago now, and so it's been around, but it's been evolving and changing within the past year.
Yes, it has. And Jan, thank you so much for having us here, and thanks for having Sarita come along. She's an amazing volunteer, and CASA, unlike many nonprofits, is completely built on volunteers. And so, you know, we treasure our volunteers so much, and we'll talk a little bit about why. But yes, we have a long history here in Norfolk, but for many, many years we were under the umbrella of Friends of Norfolk's Courts. And so people didn't hear CASA a lot. They may have heard Friends of the Courts, but they didn't hear CASA. Well, last year, a lot of very hardworking and bold human beings decided that we wanted to take a stand, and they stood up and did their own nonprofit organization, 501c3 registration under the leadership of Megan Cattile, who is now in Richmond going to acquire her master's. She went on and left, and I came in this summer, and we've been working really hard with our newfound nonprofit organization to let people know who we are, that we've been here a long time serving kids. We've served thousands of kids since we've been in the city, and we're so excited about building the program so that we can serve even more. And so thanks for having us on so we could talk about that.
Great. Now, CASA itself is it involves people who advocate for children who are navigating what can be a very difficult and a very emotional time and process in the court systems. These are children in foster care, and it's not always the upside of having a permanent, loving home. But there are a lot of things that go on during this time, not just in the child's life, but just the steps that they have to go through, and it's not easy. So having somebody there to kind of hold their hand and say, okay, we're going to help you is huge. So what is it that the volunteer does? And I think either of you could answer, but Roxy, you might want to start since you're...
They do so much, but I love how you said, hold their hand. A court-appointed special advocate is such a special human being because they sign up, they make a commitment to a child to stay with that child until they find a safe, permanent home. And most kids in foster care are in foster care 2 to 3 years. We're pretty lucky here in Norfolk. We've got a great human services department. Our kids average about 18 months in foster care, 18 to 24 months in foster care. And as we all know, it's very, very scary for anyone navigating in a court system or a strange home, being without your parents, being without your siblings. No matter what the situation was that you had to leave from, it's still very, very scary. And abandonment, the sense of not being with your loved ones, is the #1 stressor for a child. And so CASA comes in and says, you know what, no matter how many houses you may have to move from, no matter how many, maybe caseworkers or therapists you have to see, or schools that you have to change, I'm going to be right here beside you. I'm not going to leave until we make sure we walk you to your permanent safe home. And so that's a beautiful gift that a CASA gives to a child. And we have CASAs out there every day giving that gift and staying by that child and holding that child's hand. We serve about 25% of all kids who come to the court system. The judges of the 4th District, who are amazing, actually look to give us the toughest cases, so that when the cases, the hardest cases, the kids really need more wraparound services and more support. But what we're really hoping to do is to increase that with a new campaign to get a full-time volunteer coordinator, which would have us increase from 25%, doubling that, and then eventually up to 100%, and covering every child in Norfolk. We don't want a child left without a CASA in our city.
That's a noble goal. And as a volunteer yourself, Sarita, this is certainly something that caught your attention a year or so ago.
Yes.
You said that you've been a volunteer for about a year.
Yes.
What motivated you to step up?
Well, I've always been a strong believer in community service and giving back to whatever community you're in. And I say it that way because I've been in the military for 12 years. And when I was transitioning out, I just knew I wanted to volunteer somewhere. I have volunteered with Meals on Wheels and Clean the Bay and different things, which gave me some kind of satisfaction, but none of them were as great as the satisfaction I get from advocating for children. And I actually didn't know about CASA the whole 12 years I was here. Someone from California actually told me, you should look in to see if Norfolk has a CASA in the area, and they did. And because I'm so passionate about kids, everybody who knows me knows that I'm very passionate about kids, I just knew that was the thing for me to do. Wow. So that's what got me into CASA.
Wow. So the passion's there, the interest, and it just all came into sync. What was it that you did or needed to do to be qualified or to be up to speed so that you could be a CASA?
Well, there's an application process that you have to submit to. At that time, I was the director. I had to do an essay that asked me kind of questions about my background and my life. After I got past that part, there was an interview portion, and then there's also a background check you have to go through before you start the training portion. Yeah. So there was a lot to go through to become a CASA advocate, but I needed to do this. This was something I just felt like I needed to do.
So it really wasn't a problem at all for you? You just
Not
went
at all.
right ahead?
And it's very satisfying when you're going through it and learning about the things that the kids in this area are experiencing. It's just like it built it even more in me. I need to advocate for these kids.
And that's what you're doing right now. And Roxy, you were going to add something.
I was going to add that once you have gone through the stone walls of many background checks, applications, and interviews, when you're accepted, the first thing that happens is a 30-hour volunteer training. And so once you get past those gateways, then we do an extensive 30-hour volunteer training, 10 hours additional into the courthouse where you observe the judges and kind of get to know the nuances of their courtrooms. And then you're sworn in by the chief judge of the 4th District. So you take an oath, and then from there you're given your first case. You have mentors. We have mentors in place that can work with you. So if you're not quite sure about what case, sometimes if there are more than 2 or 3 kids on a case, you'll have 2 CASAs on the same case, with the same family, to make sure that it's not overwhelming for one human being to come in. We have families that have 5, 6, 7 children in them that are in foster care. And so that can be an incredible load to try to be there for all of these children. We try to partner our CASAs one-on-one with the kids, if not one-on-one, one to maybe 2, 3 at the most, without bringing in a second CASA.
Okay. What is it you look for in a volunteer?
I look for passion, determination, a sense of reason, logic, discernment. It's really important. So many people are like, oh, I want to help the kids. That's fantastic. Please do. Please call us. The thing that you have to do is that you have to go, okay, am I willing to stay for 1.5 years with a child? Am I willing to be able to look around and report to the court, because that's the other critical piece of our job. We stand by the child, but we go back into the courtroom, submit court reports to the judge that really wants to hear from us, to tell them how the child's doing. How's the placement in foster care doing? How's the transitions going on? What do they need? What do they want? Be a voice for the child in the court. And so being able to be a strong voice, to be able to reason, not to be biased, even though it can be hard not to be biased, right? You're dealing with tough cases. So you really have to discern and have good boundaries and go, I'm going to stand for this child. And I'm going to stand in a way that I'm going to be here until she gets a new home that's safe, a home that she deserves. And that really takes a level, I think, of maturity.
And commitment that you really unwavering. The time commitment for a volunteer, what would somebody be expected to do, and how much would they need to provide? I know that's not a cut and dried answer, but from your own experience, I mean, it takes a lot of time, does it not?
Yeah. And I think it depends on the case and where the case is. I was talking to a group of people a couple of weeks ago, volunteers who had just finished training, and I was explaining to them, if the case is something that is very severe and, say a case of abuse, you will want to put more time into that case, because you want to monitor more and find out how that's affecting the child, what's going on with the adults involved. Are they doing what they're supposed to do? So you can report it back to the court accurately. But sometimes, fortunately, we get moments where things are going the way they should be going. And in those cases, you're just really monitoring to make sure they continue to go that way and report that back to the court to let them know that family is going down the road of rehabilitation.
It feels good.
Yes.
Yeah. So the rewards, hard to put into words, I know, but they are there for the volunteer as well as for the family.
Yes.
Right. So the CASA volunteers, you're always looking?
Always
people?
looking. Our next training is in February. You can find the information on our website. And we would be happy to sit down and interview anyone who may be interested in joining us. It's a special group.
CASANorfolk.org is the website, so if you want to go on there and check it out. Again, court-appointed special advocates who work with our children in the foster care system. People like Sarita McKinney, who is giving her time and certainly her passion to better the life of a child, and it also fulfills something within her and possibly can do that for you. So thank you for sharing your feelings about this and just some really great information.
Thank you, Jan.
And this is always evolving, so we'd love to hear more as time moves on.
Please have us come back.
Absolutely. Thanks. And
Thank
give them a
you.
call. Well, up next, we're going to continue our series on suicide prevention and awareness with guidance for friends and co-workers of suicide survivors on how to show their support through the holiday season. We'll be right back. The holidays are filled with great expectations, but when someone has suffered the loss of a loved one, friends of a survivor can face a lot of uncertainty over how to show their support. Elaine Roberts is founder of Still Standing. She's who is the founder of a local support group for suicide survivors. She's joining us to talk a little bit more about how you can be guided to provide the kind of support that you feel comfortable with and that the person who may be grieving feels comfortable with at a time when most people look at this as a time for celebration. So it's it's the expectation is this the holidays, but traditions and all those things may not be enough to fall back on for social reasons. Oh my gosh, sending holiday cards, being at holiday parties. Do you go? If you're that person, do you want to go? And the people who see you, who may know that there is something going on, what do you say that really doesn't end up with you extracting your foot from your mouth and feeling bad? So you want people to know you care, but you don't want to make it worse. And that's
right.
It's a delicate balance, but it's something that Elaine can certainly help us get through and talk about a little bit. So the holidays being what they are, people meet with great anticipation, but sometimes that anticipation isn't always positive.
Right. Well, the holidays, we typically look very forward to them, and certainly, Thanksgiving and being thankful, and I think we, under all circumstances, do need to count what we are thankful about, even in the worst of times, and try to do that and focus on that positive. And then with the holidays in December, and we know that families maneuver those differently anyway. And whether you all live in the same community or you live in other areas and you come together. And the loss of a loved one, and particularly the first Thanksgiving, the first holiday in December, where we are dealing, whatever our religion is, that we don't have that person with us anymore. It needs to be talked about by the family who's getting together. And I know y'all talked about it last time, and how do you handle it, and you have an A plan, and if the A plan doesn't work, then have the B plan ready. Like if grandma always fixes the dinner and she insists that she can still do it, I have been in that position in other ways where I said, no, I know I can do this. Came down to it, I couldn't. And I really thought I could. So have that B plan, ready to go as well as a family, and talking about it ahead of time. And then, as you were talking about, there are different, people are just, I think, talk more during the holidays, even to strangers. Not even at, it doesn't have to always be a party. And so you can be out, you can be at dinner, you start chatting with someone across the table, and someone says to you, well, they talk about their children and they ask you about yours.
Quite innocently, too.
Very innocently.
Yes.
This is a common question that people ask of each other. And you just don't find that's the time to really talk about the loss of that loved one or how they died, and you really don't want to ruin everyone's dinner. It really comes down to it, and maybe you just don't want to talk about it at that time as well. And I've even found myself saying, well, and I'll never deny Kyla, my only child, who took her life at age 15. So they would ask how many children. I'd say one, Kyla, and they say, oh, well, where is she? Or and I would, this particular time, I said, oh, she's away, which was the truth.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have to go there. And I even found myself, there was holiday parties are starting because people were buying gifts for December, and I was just last week at this party, and there were a lot of women who have daughters there. It was a jewelry party, and ages 23 to 31, I'd say. And I was talking with one woman, and we had not talked about children or anything like that, but she said to me, do you have any grandchildren? And so it was a party, and she did not know me, and I just answered it simply, and sometimes that's the best way. I said, no, I don't have any grandchildren. I didn't go into the story of, I will never have grandchildren.
Because she doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that, and she didn't need to know it.
Exactly.
It wasn't that she had started talking to me about a situation that she was having with her daughter of depression. Now, if that was something she started talking to me, then I would start talking to her as well about the signs and what to look out for and those things. But it was just a casual party question. So that is how you can just kind of move through it. Now, for those of you who have lost that loved one recently or within that first year, and so all these first holidays and anniversaries, and they're all they take some maneuvering besides the typical rushing around. I think it's just good to come up with what you're going to say if you're asked directly. And so for me, it took a while to come up with, if I have to answer that question in a social setting, then I've just said, so that doesn't continue. If I say I have a daughter, they want to know what high school, and is she in college, and it just, I just kind of get through it quickly. I have a daughter, and she lives in heaven. And so they can you can see they're a little startled, but then she lives in heaven. How can that be a bad thing? So we kind of move on through it like that, and then we can get to other conversations. But people have to find what works for them. Now, if you're at a party with someone, and you know that they have lost a loved one recently by suicide or not, but that you know that they have been grieving, I would be careful really not to kind of see what the mood is. And it depends on your relationship with that person. But if you see them laughing, let them laugh. I've had people where I actually was enjoying myself, and then they wanted to talk to me about Kyla, and of course I would, but I thought, wow, I was actually having some fun there. So my advice is to let them be joyous if you see them having a good time. You can talk to them later about it. If it's a small group, a small dinner party, you might can tell people they've recently lost their husband or daughter or whatever the relationship is, so you can kind of guide people around it. If it's a larger function, of course, you're not going to put out a bulletin on them. No one would want that. But I think that people that know can also at that time can just give them an extra squeeze. I've been thinking about you. If the timing's appropriate, and as a host or hostess, allow your friend to invite them. I say always include them.
That was going to be one of my questions. Yes. Do you invite folks, or is that being presumptuous to do that? And is the timing right? And how can you answer those questions? But yes, invite them.
Always
Let
invite
them decide.
Make so they don't feel isolated, because they're already feeling isolated in that if it's suicide, in all death you need comfort, you need support, and trusted listeners. And with suicide, there's a guilt that can create that isolation. So if you don't invite them, then they might wonder, why didn't I get invited? So invite, don't expect them to come, don't even expect them to RSVP. Invite, and maybe put an extra note and go, if you can come, we'd love to have you. Then if they come, let them stay only half an hour if that's all they can do. Because sometimes, and I noticed with myself, sometimes I couldn't go. But the times that I did go, I appreciate when people just let me leave. Maybe I could do half an hour, maybe do 45 minutes, but I would fill up. And then I needed to go home and be quiet. So don't be offended, and let your guest leave. And don't say, oh, please, can you stay? Just let them go. It was really a healthy thing that you helped them accomplish, to actually come and intermingle with others and be normal.
Yes, exactly. Not calling attention to the fact that something has happened, and trying to allow them to just sort of reintegrate and get back into the living.
Yes.
Which is difficult enough for the person who's grieving, but when people are self-conscious, are very, very conscious of someone's grief, they tend to want to make that room and those allowances, and sometimes it doesn't accomplish what you hope. It,
Right. So, and when you just don't know what to do, just a hug.
Yeah.
That's a hug. A hug says a lot. And then perhaps talking about Christmas cards. Do you send a Christmas card or a note to the people who've lost a loved one? And of course, it's all determined by how much time, I think, has passed.
Sure.
But I always appreciated a note. If perhaps a Hanukkah or Christmas card or Kwanzaa card, if it seems too much, you know, the character's a little too happy on the card, you know, maybe just that personal note, thinking of you during the holidays, I'd like to stop by, perhaps you can say that, I'll call you in a couple days and see what works for you if that person hasn't been able to, say, join you all socially. Maybe it's something you can just do one-on-one or one couple with another couple.
Yeah.
But to not forget them, and they really need to know, even if it's leaving that message on the machine or a cell phone, I'm thinking about you, and I'm going to be calling you again. Maybe we can go to lunch. Just reaching out there, and it does make a difference. It does.
It does make a difference hearing from friends and being treated as part of the world that you've always been a part of.
Yes, well put.
Yeah. Well, that is sage advice, and I know that people will appreciate having that kind of guidance and insight into our behavior, because when we become very conscious of somebody else's situation, we can often look at it or respond to it in a way that isn't necessarily comfortable for the one that's that's dealing with it. Yes,
person.
So it's
so
normalizing it as without lacking the respect that is needed for people. Yeah, it is. It is a delicate balance, but it's something that can be done.
It is, because it's lots of times for people, if it's the first, for me, the first Christmas, I didn't want to hear Christmas music. That was just too much for me, you know. So I wasn't able to participate where there was Christmas music. Right. So,
but that can change over time.
That can change over time, exactly.
Okay. Elaine, thank you for the wonderful words of wisdom, and as always, and we look forward to talking to you again next month, and we'll be addressing some other issues. But we hope you have found that this has been helpful to you, and certainly the websites and the information we put up are a resource that you can turn to, whether these are feelings that are within inside of you, whether you need some help talking to someone because you feel distressed, and certainly during the holidays, it can be a very stressful time. So thank you for your wonderful gift, Elaine, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.